begin. I call this meeting to order. Before our first item on the agenda is roll call and introductions, as we have a number of new people tonight. So I will start, and then I'll pass it over to our newest members, and then we'll have Jackie and Ellen, and then we'll follow on this side of the table. So I'm Lee Schlotthauer. I'm the president of the library board. I have lived in Menomonee Falls for almost 12 years, and I have two elementary and middle school aged children. So, okay. And then I'm going to pass this along, so we're going to try to use the microphone together.
My name is Colleen Leahy. I am the newest library board trustee, and I'm really excited about it, a little nervous. I've never actually been up on a panel like this, but I'm excited to be here and serve my
Really, I can't hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry, thank you for letting me know. Yes, thank you. I've been a resident in Menomonee Falls for 16 years. I have two children. One just graduated from high school here in Falls last June, and I have a son that's going into 7th grade at the middle school this coming school year.
Hi, I'm Nicole Barker. I am the other newest member here tonight. I have served on a PTO before, but never like a formal board like this. So I'm excited to be here tonight. I have 4 children. My youngest is 5. I have twin 11-year-olds, and I have a 13-year-old who's going to be starting high school this next year.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you. And I've lived in Menomonee Falls about 2 years, but I've been a Waukesha County resident for 12, 13 years, something like that. So I've been in the area. Thank you.
My name is Jackie Romer. I am the library director here at Menomonee Falls Public Library. I have been here for 3 years in July, and it has just flown by. Love everything about it. I like the staff, I like working with the boards, the volunteers, and the community is delightful. So I'm happy to be here, and welcome to our new members. We're excited to have you.
Hello, I'm Ellen Rohr. I'm the business manager. I'm the one that takes the minutes here at the board meetings, creates the board packets after all the instructions from the president and Jackie. And I also help pay the bills and all of that fun stuff. And I've been here 10 years.
I'm Jessica Cole. I've lived in the Falls since 2019, been on the board for 2 years now. I have 3 teenagers, one who just graduated from high school, one who's going into high school, and then a middle kid. I'm an Army wife, and yeah, that's it.
My name is Carol McGivney. I've lived here in the Falls for about 30 years. Some of you might know me as the Fussville lady because I've done extensive research on a little community that's part of Menomonee Falls called Fussville. And I'm on my 6th year serving on the board.
My name is Brad Jubbard. I'm the village trustee. I've been moved out to Menomonee Falls about 2018. Take a job out of school, so I moved here with my 3 children, and we love it here, so really glad to be here.
So we are going to do our best with the microphones tonight. This is new for all of us, so please be patient. And the next item on our agenda is public comment. So I am going to read the public comment paragraph that was on our agenda for everyone's information. So the Library Board of Trustees will hold a public comment period for the purpose of allowing the non-appointed public the opportunity to address the board regarding any matter that involves the library or matters over which the Library Board of Trustees has authority to take action. Campaigning for elected office shall not be allowed during the public comment period. People may speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. The board will only receive comments during public comment, so trustees or staff members, we will not respond or debate matters raised during public comment. We have the public comment period scheduled for a total of 15 minutes, but it will end sooner if it's been determined that no one else present still wishes to speak. We are asking, we have a form in the back of the room if you wish to give a public comment, to please fill that out. That makes Ellen's life a lot easier. And then we also ask that please come to the podium with the microphone. Again, we're going to try to make sure the volume of the microphone is at a good level, so bear with us for whoever goes first. We might need to be adjusting the volume for that, okay? So I would invite anyone who would like to make a public comment to come forward.
Shall I give this to you?
Yeah. And I will do the timer.
And you just need to give your name and your address.
Oh. My name is Mrs. Claire Kuti. My husband and I have lived in the village for 40 years, and our adult children were raised here. In fact, my son did his Eagle Scout project during the summer of and on the grand opening of this beautiful new library. Watchung Library had to be closed for a couple of days so that all the collections could be moved over to this beautiful new library. I want to make sure that that never happens again for other reasons. And I will do anything that my husband and I and our adult children can do to make sure that this library is financed appropriately. I want to be careful of my words here. I need to understand the difference in the library budget and the library levy. I did attend the village board meeting Monday night, and I still don't understand the difference between the two. I also think it's very important for all taxpayers in the village to understand that if you do not receive your minimum amount in your budget, if I understand it correctly, that there would be an additional tax on the property owners. And correct me if I'm wrong, that additional tax dollars would not go back into benefiting the Menomonee Falls residents. So I thank you very much, and I'm so happy to see so many people here this evening. It's a very important part of our community. The Waukesha County Library Plan is strong libraries, build strong communities. What else can be said after that? Thank you very much.
Hi, Grace Howard. If you're having trouble, just let me know. I am capable of projecting. I lived in Menomonee Falls since 2003. I'm a fan of the library. First of all, welcome to the new board members. I'm sure that all the board members, not just the two new ones, appreciate the privilege that you all have been given to be allowed to carry the responsibility of governing the Menomonee Falls Public Library. I firmly believe that. That responsibility, of course, is to the people of Menomonee Falls and all of them who are not here. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this board can do once the full complement of seats is filled. It was very nice, I think, to see the village board work swiftly to fill the 2 seats, and I hope that whatever body is responsible for filling the school board seat spot does that swiftly as well. Second, regarding the speed at which the appointments were done, I have recently seen and heard some quite disturbing things that indicate that the appointment process was too swift, perhaps even over hasty, to the point where the appropriate level of due diligence was not taken. I understand it is not this board, but the village board that does the appointments, so any clarification would have to come from them. What I hope for this board is that this talk of undue haste and the opacity of the village process doesn't negatively impact the public perception of the working of the library board. Third, Later in the agenda, there's an item regarding live streaming of the future library board meetings. I strongly encourage you to approve and move forward with that, and also consider recording them like the school board and the village board meetings are. It's obvious to me there's a high community interest and involvement with the library, and I think that greater accessibility by the public to the work of the library board would be nothing but beneficial. Thanks.
Good evening, my name is Maggie Davis, and in the interest of transparency, recently in demand by the public of Menomonee Falls, I would like to disclose that I am a staff member of your Menomonee Falls Public Library. I am the Adult Services and Reference Assistant. I am in charge of interlibrary loan service, coordinating our wonderful volunteers, and putting together the materials for our treasured home delivery patrons. I teach your children how to make short films with Legos, and I teach your family members how to paint and embroider. I am called to action tonight by my own sense of civic duty, and I would like to assert that what I have to say this evening is not a statement on behalf of the library or its staff members. I speak for myself and myself alone. I would like to address the growing concerns regarding acts of censorship and book bans plaguing our country. For many of you that have known and spoken with me, you know that my degree is actually in animation. I've been fortunate enough to be gifted opportunities to speak with many influential filmmakers, including Mr. Henry Selick, who you may know as director of family horror films such as Coraline, based on the challenge book of the same title by Mr. Neil Gaiman. I asked him, Mr. Selick, how do you balance scares with laughs? Or do you ever have concerns that a project may lean too far in the horror direction? And he answered me simply, not really. The point of these stories is to prepare them, not scare them. It's about the scares and not scars. And it's true, while Coraline horrified parents across the country, one of the key takeaways of the story is that children should not live in perpetual fear of their neighbors or in contempt of strict parents, but that they need to understand that if someone is offering you something too good to be true, it often is. Nice is different than good. I urge parents to keep open communications with their children about what the expectations of their homes are, but please do not stifle your children's sense of exploration. Children are much braver and resilient than you think. They have compassion beyond their years and are quite skilled at self-regulation given the opportunity to display it. In the last week alone, I've assisted 2 school-age children unaccompanied by a parent in the children's library who asked for my assistance after finding books on their own on a subject they were interested in learning and determining on their own that the content was not appropriate for their age. Inevitably, however, our children come into their own, both with new and inherited values, ideas, and opinions. These may differ from yours, and it ought to be something to be celebrated. I respect and support the rights of parents to establish boundaries for their families in their private homes, but I warn you of the folly of exerting your private boundaries on the public. Not only is it an offense to your neighbors and fellow parents, implying that they are not fit to raise their own children in their own homes and with their own values, but it is also an offense to the members of our community and our country who have sacrificed selflessly in its service, both past and present, protecting our nation's freedoms and values. Our founding documents ensure us and future generations the right to free speech and free press, and within them the freedom to read and view. In fact, these documents were penned by our forefathers, printed on printing presses, and called radical, treacherous, and obscene by their own oppressors. Such valor we celebrate nationally in less than 2 weeks, and yet here we are 2 centuries later threatening to undo such monumental work. Friends, I am drawing the line here. I ask you to stand with me and hold it. Pursuing art based on moral purity, a homogeneous identity, and perpetuating an ideology of us versus them will continue to divide our community and nation into a rut of paranoia, hatred, and rage. We hold more connection here in this room with our differences than those who would try to silence and destroy us. They'll wail about the horrific realities of 1984 and Fahrenheit 451 and then turn around and ban those books so that we cannot identify and call our enemy for what it really is. And I assure you, this will not stop with the elimination of a single targeted group. We must hold the line here. The fact of the matter is that regardless of what you think of one another, we are the best that we have. We cannot allow the color of our skin, our sexuality, our gender, religion, and other factors that make us wonderful and human to become tools for people with our worst interests at heart to turn against one another and our human compulsion to create art. After all, in the words of author David Mallory Ortberg, God made wheat but not bread, and fruit but not wine, so that humanity too might share in the act of creation. I can make you all no promises but this: if the line is broken and our community turns away from you, you will always have a place at my table. Thank you.
Hello, am I supposed to say my address here? No. Okay. I came tonight to offer my thanks, my welcome, and my wishes. So first, to those of you who have been serving on our library board, I want to give you my most sincere thank you. You will see myself, my husband, and our 2 kids in this library anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week. We love this place. We love the variety of books we have at our disposal, from Brian Barton's children's book, My Bike is my son's favorite book, to my husband's horror and mystery novels, and my array of young adult lit and historical fiction. We love the toy rotation, the rotating crafts, the scavenger hunts, story times, and getting our new papers and our 1,000 book challenges. We love our librarians who create these wonderful experiences for our family. Joe and Claire are 2 children's librarians who are always so engaging with my kids, and I recognize 2 other librarians here who are always extremely helpful, but not necessarily always in the children's department, so thank you as well. They've made such a fun place where my son now plays with his guys, which he calls his toys at home. The only places that his guys travel to are the library and Grandma and Grandpa's house. That's his favorite places. So we're excited for our kids to take part in new opportunities here as they age. Lego Club, The Forge, a safe, stimulating study environment where they can work through math problems with their peers. The singular areas upstairs existed when I was younger, but not the Forge and like the new cool spaces with the whiteboard, so I'm kind of jealous. But thank you for making this haven for them. To our new board members, welcome. If you watched the public comments at the last 2 village board meetings, you know how truly treasured this building is, its peoples, and its services. And you know that I too apply for the position that you now hold. I also don't think I was ever taken into consideration for it. I don't know if that my resume was even read. However, I do not begrudge you of the position that you now have. I'm thrilled that so many people want to serve our library, so thank you. However, I sincerely hope that you guys love this place as much as I do, and that you want to uphold the quality of services that you are now in charge of providing for our community. I genuinely hope that you have the library's interest and the interest of our entire community in mind as you serve on this board. I would be devastated if you sought this position as a means to fulfill a political agenda that would limit the materials, resources, and experiences to anyone in this community. People have a choice to engage with whatever materials and experiences they desire. Nobody should have the right to take those away from anyone. My wish is that our library not only maintains the quality it provides, but that it continues to grow. I love visiting libraries all over our county and even throughout states as we travel. It's my family's go-to rainy day activity, whether we're in Upper Michigan, Illinois, or Baraboo County, you name it. There's so much creativity among our librarians. I hope that you all continue to listen to them, encourage them, and allow them to enhance our library and support them financially. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Farah Inlet. Thank you, everyone, and I appreciate you guys all serving the board of the library. I just heard about it earlier this afternoon, so I don't really have anything prepared, but you know, I've been in the Falls for over 21 years. I have 3 kids who grew up here, and all they did growing up was read. They came to the library, and every stage, from the time that they were little for story time and everything. Anyway, I don't need to, I did speak at the other meeting, and I did want to just reiterate how important the library is for children. My kids are successful because of the library playing a huge part, not just the schools, because they spend time here, and I brought them here for not just reading books, but participating in every single activity that they would have in the summer, reading time, Legos, art, everything. And it just breaks my heart to actually think that you guys would take away the money that funds this place, or even if that's even a consideration. There are so many other ways for you guys to cut budgets and not take away from the library. You are taking away from your future generations. You are completely limiting how what they can even read. I mean, I don't know how much of it's true. I'm not, this is what I have been reading, and after going to the last meeting, I was very disturbed, and I'm just here to tell you that, it would be very disappointing if you guys put politics ahead of our children and actually make a decision for our children so that they advance, they develop, they grow, they learn, and they actually make something themselves successful for, sorry, I'm not really prepared, but anyway, I just wanted to express that I'm just hoping that this is not where you guys cut the budget from. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. I just wanted to thank those that did speak and thank everyone who is here tonight because we have a special recognition on the next item on the agenda. So many of you are aware that Peggy Haas and Ian Dickman were previous board members and have a combined 12 years of service on the Menomonee Falls Public Library Board of Trustees. So we have a small item, I guess, for them to give tonight, and I'm going to try to do this with all of the hands.
You need a hand.
Yeah. So, perfect. All right, so we'll do Peggy's first. We just have a certificate of appreciation for you, Peggy. We are just so grateful for your service to our library board and everything that you've done for our community through the library. So thank you very much. Thank you. I know you loved it. And next we have Ian Dickman. We have a certificate of appreciation for you as well for your term of service and appreciate everything you've done for our library and our community through your Okay. Next item of business is our consent agenda. So this is a standing item on our library board agenda, and this is our minutes for our last regular meeting as well as the expenditures for the last month. So I will give the board members some time to review those in case you haven't had an opportunity to, and then take questions from the board on anything or any corrections. There was one correction on the minutes. Sorry, I have to just pull it up here. On page, 2 of the minutes, under item number 8, it says that Haas asked why there was no discussion by the village board. I believe that was Carol who had asked. Was that correct, Carol?
I believe so.
Okay, so we do need to make that correction. Any other questions or edits that people have? Hearing no additional edits or comments, I will take a motion to approve as the consent agenda as edited.
Second.
Sorry, someone has to make the motion and then another person has to second it. I can't do it.
I so move.
I second.
Okay, thank you. The consent agenda stand.
Do we do all
Oh,
in favor?
sorry. Still working on this. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the consent agenda stands approved as edited. Next, we come to new business. So we have a number of items for discussion, action, and possible approval. The first of which is to discuss and consider for approval live streaming of future library board meetings using library-owned technology. Everyone did get a copy of this trustee one-pager meaning like a front and back, even though it's a stapled two-pager, so stick with me. So on this, it just kind of talks about our legal duties as board members. We have a duty of care, so we are responsible to care, participate actively in making decisions on behalf of the library, and to exercise our best judgment. We have a duty of loyalty, so when acting on behalf of the organization, we must set aside personal and professional interests and put the library's needs first. And we also have the duty of obedience, which means we are responsible for ensuring that the organization remains true to its mission and that we comply with governing documents and federal and state laws. There also is the important piece to mention that we are responsible to our community. So thank you all for coming tonight. And one way to look at live streaming is to fulfill that duty to our community, to be transparent, and as mentioned previously, to help the community understand what all goes into the different facets of the library. Any other discussion that people want to contribute, please use the microphone, and I can pass this one, or we can use the tape ones. Oh, sorry.
I guess I just have like questions as far as like logistical purposes, like how we would set that up, and I know we have like the equipment, but like what about like bandwidth and like how much it would cost and like just that kind of stuff. I don't know. I guess I kind of would like some more information.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to it. I actually think it's a really good idea. I just kind of would like a plan.
Yep.
As far as how to implement it.
Yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit. One of our options would be using the same technology that the village uses for their village board meetings. We would have to have those meetings in the village boardroom, and unfortunately Wednesday nights they have court, so we would either have to change our meeting night or we could continue having it here. We do have the technology in order to do a live stream and a recording, probably via YouTube. The school district sometimes does that when they are having meetings off-site. So we would be able to live stream them via YouTube, but then they would also be recorded on our YouTube channel for people to see. So I don't believe that there is a cost to that. So that would all be, we already have all the technology. The only thing I could think of is maybe we would look into investing in some tabletop microphones that just sit right on the tables so that we don't have to keep doing this. But we could definitely look at those costs and come back to you with a quote for that if that's something you're interested in pursuing.
Good question. Any other questions? Yeah, I'm sure I should. Just, you have to be kind of close to it.
I guess my only other question with that is, are there regulations or laws regarding the governance of retaining records and how we meet those requirements?
Good question. Do you know?
We would follow we would follow the village's same records retention schedule for keeping their recordings on their website. So we would look at whatever that retention schedule is and just follow that. It would be the same records retention.
Sorry, not records retention per se, but there are regulations. We have an employee, as I understand it, you all know I'm new, but I understand that there's an employee that's hired to come in to make sure that there's chain of custody issues and other government, when you're talking about a government record, there are certain regulations that go into making sure that that is properly dealt with, handled, control, etc.
And does anyone on the board know about that, or is that something we would probably have to research, I think? About any
I
other?
wasn't aware of
Okay.
what that entails, so
Okay.
she could definitely research that.
Okay.
So
Yes, go
are we
ahead.
saying then that we would investigate what Brad is asking about? And then cost was a question that came up as well. And you would check on the mics. Is that what we were talking about, Jackie? That would be the only additional cost to this idea?
Yes.
And for myself, I'm all into transparency. I think the opportunity to put us on camera gives everybody an opportunity to see us and hear us. And it holds us accountable as well. So I would be in favor of that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
So if we were to have it in here, is there, where would the camera be? Would the sound be, would there be a run through to make sure everybody can hear and see well at home? Make sure the quality is good.
Can you answer where the
Yes,
camera?
so we actually received grant funding through Bridges Library System to purchase something called an OWL meeting software, so we could have the owl, and it really does look like an owl.
It's like this sound.
We could have it perched right in front, and then whoever is speaking, it automatically turns to that person speaking, and it does have very good sound quality. So I would really think that our investment in the microphones, the tabletop microphones, would be minimal, given the sound quality of the owl. So we do have that software, so it would be set up like right over here. And then even during public comment, the owl knows when someone's talking, so it would turn. So it's pretty swift. It's really good technology. So we may not even need extra microphones depending on our test runs.
Yes, and thank you for answering that. And I would just say, who would be responsible for videotaping? Would it be the same person? Have you thought about?
Library staff would
Okay.
take care of setting it up in advance, and then we just press a button, and hopefully all goes well.
Okay, that sounds great. I too am all for transparency. I think this is a fantastic idea. And I think as soon as we get the logistics figured out, I would be full support. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's just say I'm fully for it. So, and I hope we could just figure out the logistics and have that, because I am all for transparency as well. So.
Okay, so any other comments or questions?
I'm just thinking that, are we going to table this until next month when we have answers, or are we voting today?
It could be tabled, or the motion could include following whatever requirements are necessary in terms of to what Trustee Jubber was, as long as it adheres to whatever requirements that you are referring to.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the requirements are, so I don't know that, I would like to know that before I vote, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't mind. This one doesn't work as well, I guess.
You're good.
I also like the idea of the transparency. I just want to make sure the rules are being followed, that's it. So I would like to know where what the requirements are.
Should we make a motion to approve pending information that we would receive next month? Is that how we would phrase that?
I think that would be sufficient, yes.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the live streaming of future library board meetings using library-owned technology pursuant upon information that we receive next month. Is that kind of correct?
I think that sounds.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion.
Anyone second? I'll second. Okay. So everyone in favor of approving live streaming of future library board meetings using library-owned technology pursuant to the determination of what the regulations of so doing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. then we will look into the regulations and bring those to the next meeting. And so how does this work if the regulations turn up and people are not in agreement with them?
So I guess my plan was I would be willing to communicate with the village to look into what those regulations are. Hypothetically, let's say that they say no, that actually wouldn't work for our needs, we wouldn't implement that.
Okay.
But if they say that our plan is perfectly fine, legal, you know, doing everything the right way, then we would be ready to actually start the live streaming next month.
Okay.
Does that sound fine to everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Next item is cross-county requests for reimbursement overview, and there is a handout at your seats that Jackie and Ellen provided that is titled that, so I'm assuming that goes in this part of the agenda. Ellen, are you going to give us that overview?
I am.
Thank you.
So can't hear me, I'm just going to hold it.
Do you want this one? Okay.
So each year, what we are able to do is, I'm just going to read my thing, it's going to be easier. So cross-county request for reimbursement. Part of the Menomonee Falls Library funding is called cross-county reimbursement. By state statute, chapter 43.12, if a municipality or town in an adjacent county does not have a library, we can request from that county payment for each checkout we provide. What this means is if someone from the town of Ridgefield visits us and checks out items from our library, we can submit a request to Washington County for servicing their residents. We do not get reimbursed for any checkouts made by residents that have a library. So if somebody from West Bend comes here or from Hartford, we can't request money for those. Some of you may have heard that we do not loan any items to the city or the village of Germantown. The reason is back in the 90s, we were checking out 30,000 items to the people in the village of Germantown. The state law says that if a municipality with a library checks out 500 items or more, we have the right to deny service. So obviously between 30,000 and 500 is a lot. So that's why we denied them. So we calculate the cost of circulating an item by taking our total expenditures for the previous year and subtract any revenue we may have received from federal funds. So if we get a grant for when we did the Wi-Fi and extended it out to the parking lot, we got a federal grant for that, so we had to subtract that money. We divide the total cost by the total circulation for the year. In 2022, our cost for circulation for one item was $6.08. We then made a request to the adjacent counties for the total number of items checked out, then took that times 608, or $6.08, and then that's the total, but most counties only pay the minimum, which is 70% of that amount. So we requested the following, and we will be paid these amounts by March 1st of next year. Racine County has an agreement with Bridges, so they do their own thing. I didn't keep track of how many they checked out. But Jefferson had 42 circulations. The cost to provide that was $255, and we requested 179. Dodge County was 174 items for a total cost of $1,059.66, and we're requesting $741.76. Ozaki is 127 items. We're requesting $541.44. Washington County is 9,653 items. The total cost to provide services was $58,790.63. and our reimbursement request was $41,153.44. This totals to $42,615.64, which is revenue we'll receive in 2024. So if the municipal appropriation will affect the amount of funds we can request from neighboring counties. And that's because if we get less money to spend, the cost per circulation is going to go down. So when our neighboring counties check out items here, we cannot charge as much, so we don't get that extra revenue in here. Any questions by the board?
I have a question. So are the circulations, are those annual circulations, so January to December?
Correct.
And so the numbers here are, I'm assuming, the 2022 numbers?
Correct.
So there's a little bit of a delay in, like, we get the 2022 numbers get paid in 2024?
Correct.
Okay, just
Because
making sure I'm
we
understanding.
request the money,
Right.
the numbers are from 2022, because then we have our total budget, or total spending, total circulations. We request it in 2023 by July 1st, and then we get the money by March in 2024.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that the village of Germantown, which is part of Washington County, isn't part of that number, and still it's quite large that we get from Washington
It's
County.
Richfield that,
Richfield.
yeah, that's where we get most of the funding.
Yeah, just quickly. So I just had a question about the Washington County, actually. There's this 9,000, and then the 60,000, and then we're requesting 40,000. Any idea where the 60,000, 40,000 comes from? Where are those numbers, how are they calculated?
70%.
70%?
That's, by state law, they only have to pay 70%.
Okay, no, but not that. But I guess what I was asking is, we got the 60,000, where does that 60,000 come from? Is that the same as when I come and check out a book and it's...
Oh, $6.08 you mean?
Yeah,
That is our total expenses for the year, divided by our total circulation for the year. That comes up to $6.08.
58,000.
He's wondering about the $58,000. What is that?
Oh, the 58,000 is 9,653 times $6.08.
And then the 41 is 70%.
70% of that, yeah. Any other questions, board?
Thank you, Ellen. So I was explaining to our new members that the budget and understanding all of this is very complicated, and this is just one small piece of the complication that is.
We will probably go through more next.
But it is really helpful for you to, like, these walkthroughs are very helpful, so thank you. So the next thing that we have on the agenda under new business is nominations for Library Board Office of President for July 2023 through July 2024. This is our election cycle, so every July or every June we do the elections for the coming year.
The nominations.
The nominations, sorry.
And then in July, the actual elections are held.
Thank you. So do we have any nominations for the office of president?
Yes, I move to nominate Amy.
I'll second.
Anyone else? So do I do all? Okay. All in favor of Amy Schlapphauer for nomination for the Library Board Office of President, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Do we just,
Was there someone opposed? Oh, okay, sorry. Then,
Do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination. Okay, so we do the same thing for Secretary Treasurer, or do we do more nominations?
yeah, we'll have to see if there's anyone else who's interested in being nominated.
All right, anyone else interested in being nominated for the Library Board Office of President? Okay, hearing none. So I just go on, and so we have the election in July. Okay.
Next month we'll take nominations again, so, oh, sorry.
Okay.
Next month we'll take nominations again, so if anybody changes their mind, you can nominate yourself, so.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. Next, we have nominations for Library Board Office of Secretary Treasurer for the term July 2023 to July 2024.
I nominate Jessica Cole.
We need a second for Jessica Cole nomination. Thank you. All those in favor of Jessica Cole as a nomination for the Library Board Office of Secretary Treasurer for the term July 2023 through July 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any other nominations for the Library Board Office of Secretary Treasurer? Okay. As Ellen said, again, if you take the month and reconsider or want to put another name forward, we will take more nominations in July during our regular board meeting. Next, we have the Menomonee Falls Library Friends Liaison. Jackie, do you want to give an overview of that, please?
Yes, absolutely. So many of you are aware that we have a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 organization called the Menomonee Falls Library Friends that has been in existence since 1992. They became a 501c3 in 1995. This is a separate organization from the library board and from the library. They have their own board of directors, and their goals in the past few years have been to support the library with requests for wish list items that go above and beyond the library's budget. They've been very generous with their funding for us in these past few years. There is a full slate of directors. 7 of those, there's a 7-member board of directors for the Friends. There's also 2 ex officio non-voting members, myself, and then also in the Friends bylaws, there is a library board member. This person serves as a non-voting member. They do not act in any way to sway or vote on the Friends. They're merely that really important connection between the library board and the library Friends. If you read the Trustee Essentials from the state, it talks a lot about the importance of having a very collaborative working relationship between these 2 groups. And I feel like in the time I've been here, it's always been a really wonderful collaboration. Previously, Trustee Haas was the liaison. The Friends would like a new liaison from the library board who would be interested in coming to those meetings. So really the responsibilities for that position is attending the Friends meetings, which are typically the evenings of the second Tuesday of every month. There's also, sometimes we have to change those meeting dates, but it's pretty typically the second Tuesday here at the library. And the only other responsibility is every month we ask that the liaison would give a report at the library board meeting about Friends happenings, what contributions they made to the library, and kind of what's going on with Friends. So if there's anyone interested in filling that position, please let us know. Or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Is that selected then next month, or do we choose that this month? We choose that today?
It could be choose this month, yes, if there's someone interested this month.
Anyone interested? Big shoes to fill.
So we've had a little bit of a discussion in emails that we've been receiving with regards to liaisons being responsible for Facebook and other things that come out of our Friends group. I'm interested, but I'm a little reluctant to delve into this because I don't want to get into all of it. If the role is, as you say, Jackie, it's merely reporting back to our group letting everyone know what was talked about at the Friends meeting and attending those Friends meeting. If that's the case, I would be interested.
Yes, I would say that is the minimum contribution that would be needed.
Then I would be interested.
Okay.
Also, if Carol decides a couple months in she would rather not do it, can we bring this up again?
Yes, absolutely.
So
I
you're not
appreciate
locked.
that. Thank you very much. I'm good.
Anyone else interested in this position?
Excuse me, I'm not interested, not interested in actually being a liaison. Is it okay for other board members just to kind of pop in and see what it's like?
It'd be great. I'd love to have somebody there too, so I'd appreciate that.
To do that, thank you.
And there's no prohibition for board members to become Library Friends members as well. Because the book sale's really good. Just saying.
I would say though that if you do plan to attend, please let Jackie or myself know, because if we have more than 4 of you attending, we need to do an informal gathering notice.
Thank you for that reminder. Anyone else interested in becoming the Menomonee Falls Library Friends Liaison? So do we vote on Carol? Okay. So I need a motion to nominate Carol as the Falls Friends Liaison. Thank you. Anyone second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor of Carol becoming the Menomonee Falls Library Friends Liaison, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. You have a new job.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Until you don't want it.
Yes, until you don't want it. Okay. So next we have some unfinished business, or next on our agenda is unfinished business items for discussion, action, possible approval. We do not have anything listed here. Is this still the case, Jackie? Okay. So I am going to move us to the trustee education segment of the program. This is where we review a chapter of the handbook for Wisconsin Public Library Trustees that the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction puts out. This month, the topic is Chapter 25, Liability Issues, and Jackie usually provides us with an overview of the chapter, and is it included in the packets? Yes, okay, great. Jackie, take it away.
All right, liability issues. So it starts off, generally library trustees need fear no personal loss or liability for the honest performance of their official duties and exercise of powers granted by law. Wisconsin statutes and court cases generally provide that public officials are immune from individual liability for actions performed within the scope of their office. But it is important for trustees to know that personal liability is still possible if there is intentional or careless injuries or damage, illegal use of public funds or authority, ethics, conflict of interest law violations, public record law violations, and open meeting law violations. In the case of open meeting law violations, an individual board member who is found to be in violation of the law, they may actually be fined and may have to pay the fine personally without reimbursement from the library or municipality. There is a really, really helpful document put out by the Wisconsin Department of Justice about open meeting laws, and I will send all of you a copy of that. It's a big PDF, but it is really some important information that we should all be on top of, so I'll be emailing that to you after the meeting. It provides a really, really good overview. We also have to make sure that boards avoid taking actions that violate rights guaranteed by federal constitution or federal law. Special care must be exercised in actions about discrimination laws, employment laws, First Amendment rights. It's important that the board really take a step back and make sure that everything is being done by the book. Wisconsin statutes say that if a claim is brought against the library board because of an act or omission of the library board, the claimant may bring action against the municipality. So because the municipality is ultimately liable for any legal missteps of the library board, municipal attorneys are usually very willing to assist the library board with any legal questions. So it also goes over how to protect yourself from liability, becoming knowledgeable, reading those things about open meeting laws, making sure that the policies for the library are reviewed on a regular cycle, which we do review based on the state recommendations. We review all of our policies at least every 3 years on a rotating basis. And we want to make sure that board members always exercise care and diligence of new or revised policies. You are more than free to vote against any proposed board action that you would believe is illegal or improper. And you can also vote to table an issue if you think that there's insufficient information. Act and speak for the library only when authorized to do so by the full board, and avoid even the appearance of conflict of interest. So definitely consult with library staff or the municipal attorney if there's any concerns about the legality of any action. Basically, just make sure that you're doing your due diligence with everything that's provided to you. Are there any questions about that chapter that you had? Or topics of conversation? All right. I know you two just got the whole handbook like yesterday and today, so it's good bedtime reading.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Next, thank you, Jackie. Next is the library board president's report. I usually use this time to go over any correspondence that I've received and any questions. I did get 2 emails since our last meeting asking about the process for applying to the library board, and I sent them the information that was submitted through multiple means with the application and the address to send those to. I also received an email from a citizen who was asking questions about the who oversees the library friends, and to which I responded with the chapter from the handbook, and also just almost exactly what you gave as an overview, that it is a separate 501c3. Our library board does not oversee the library friends, and that is the only those are the only emails that I have received in the past month about asking questions of the library. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. Next is the director's report, and this is something that, for our new members, Jackie gives every month. It is very complete. And she also does that really nice addendum in the packet where she kind of updates us on a variety of statistics, and so it's kind of presented in the same format every month, which is very helpful. Go ahead.
Thank you. So this month I'm talking about May, and I have some really exciting news to share. May was a record-breaking month for MFPL. Menomonee Falls Public Library patrons checked out 5,707 ebooks, e-audiobooks, and e-magazines from Libby. We have never had a higher amount of circulations per month. This year alone, we've had 265 new users of Libby sign up for Libby. And year-to-date, our 2023 physical circulation exceeds 2019's physical circulation by 13,843 items. It is fantastic. Year-to-date, our 2023 new card registrations exceeds 2019's year-to-date registrations by 211. Everybody wants a library card. The absolutely wonderful staff have been in full swing with summer reading program. It kicked off June 12th. from visiting the local schools to getting Bean Stack ready. There's so much preparation that goes into the summer library program. So I'd like to give a big thank you to every single staff member who played a part in it and getting it ready. It truly was a team effort for everyone. The community's goal this year is to read 1 million minutes, and I think we can do it. The first week of the summer library program, we had 3,748 visitors. We created 103 new library cards, and we checked out 9,060 physical items. So far, the community has read 226,000 minutes, which is amazing. We had our annual Staff Education Day on Friday, May 5th. We learned about many topics including safety, team building, fire extinguisher training, courtesy of the fabulous Menomonee Falls Fire Department. We also developed and implemented team norms for our staff. That was a really exciting and invigorating experience for us. And we also have breaking news. After months of effort, our brand new emergency response plan in a color-coordinated flip chart. I'd like to thank all of the staff who provided input and read my many, many drafts. I'm very excited about this. I feel strongly in the need for preparedness. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, but we have everything from elevator emergencies to severe weather to medical emergencies, and this is all in a convenient flip chart for staff to be able to look at and use it as needed. So we were able to complete this. This was a many month-long project. Looking at some statistics, you can see that between January and May of this year, we had 933 new card registrations, new card signups. We've had over 61,000 visitors. Our incredible library staff have answered over 10,000 reference questions. And we had 6,284 program participants in our 286 programs. So that is just absolutely fantastic. We're seeing, in many cases, higher numbers than pre-pandemic, than 2019. The library is really having a revitalized moment right now, and we couldn't be more excited about it. In other exciting news, 10-12, which is our new space for tweens ages 10 through 12, is now open. This space was made 100% with donations from Home Depot, Kohl's Corporate, Waukesha State Bank, and also a grant from Bridges Library System. The volunteers from Kohl's actually painted the room for us, and it looks absolutely incredible. I encourage all of you to check it out. And I just wanted to give an update. I know there's been a lot of talk about it. I just wanted to update the board. To date, I have received no requests for reconsideration of library materials. And that is all I have.
Jackie, could you talk about Bean Stack? I was kind of new to the whole thing about being part of the reading program, and seeing as we have quite a nice group here, it would be interesting to share how people can take part in the million minutes. Is that
Yes, absolutely. So we use an app called Bean Stack, and it's also available as a website. If you click on, if you go onto the homepage of our website, you can sign up for an account on Bean Stack, and you actually just track your minutes. And that is also where everyone from children, teens, and adults can enter tickets to win prizes throughout the summer. So they can put their tickets in for adults, we're giving away a Fitbit as one of the grand prizes, or a historic Milwaukee walking tour. And we also have milestone prizes along the way. Kids can come in and get coupons for various local establishments, Culver's, all the fun things that everybody wants. And it's a really great way to track minutes. It's super easy. The app makes it very convenient for use, and we plan on continuing that into the future.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yep. Yes, and most of the prizes for the summer reading program and the winter reading program are generous donations from our community, businesses, and organizations. So it's a great program, both our summer library program and our winter reading program, to get the community super hyped about reading. It's also great, I think, because for adults who join the adult reading program this summer, reading to your children counts towards your minutes. So it's pretty easy to win some sweet prizes for promoting literacy. So I encourage all the parents or caregivers or aunties or grandmas and grandpas to sign up and just rack up those minutes, because I know you spend a lot of time reading to your kids.
Thank you.
Any questions for Jackie on the director's report contents? I appreciated, as always, the picture. I don't know if it was on there, but there was a really great picture of the staff with the fire truck in the background that she included.
We had a great time. It was awesome.
All right. Next, we have Village Trustees report. Mr. Jubber? You want this?
Yeah, so obviously we've got Nicole and Colleen here tonight. We met Monday night and we discussed various different things that are going on in the village. The library appointments for me were kind of important to make sure that we got those done. As far as other things, we've got the stormwater going on. We talked about how basically I'm kind of new to all of this still, but the sewers, often when the stormwater isn't properly handled, will overflow into the sewers. We wanted to make sure that it's not polluting our waterways. So we're talking about reassessing, actually we didn't reassess, Waukesha County reassessed everyone's home and recently. If you aren't aware, if you own a home, you obviously know that your value has gone up significantly. So the good news is that we're cutting tax rates, but the value has gone up. So there's some discussion as to where that will all end up. We're going through that and trying to encourage residents to encourage the development of the stormwater program and make sure that we are not overwhelming our sewer systems through that. And then the last thing that we discussed was the taxing at the end of the year, the levy versus the budget issue that came up in the trustee meeting. We basically just separated the library out from all the other spending in the village. It just enables us to be more transparent and open about what's going on in the library. To my knowledge, I've not been in any budget meetings. I haven't discussed anything about cutting the library funding or anything like that. So at this point, those discussions will all be coming in October when we have more information about what's going on with the home values and tax rates and whatnot. So stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting summer.
Any questions from board members? So are the October meetings the work group meetings that the village has? Is that the same thing?
Obviously, I've never been to an October meeting. I've never sat in those, so I don't really know, but I believe that that's the idea, that in October we're going to be discussing workshops, we're going to have kind of public comments, public events, and then in November the final budget the levies will be approved. My understanding with the difference between the budget and the levy is basically that the library controls the budget, but the village determines what the levy is to meet that budget. And so that's really the only difference, at least as far as I know.
I know you're new to it, Brad. Can you explain, this is the first year that the library's been separated out, is that true? And why is that? Why did that happen this year?
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't know that that's ever happened before. Again, there's some concerns. We want to make sure that things are working out well. But things that actually I think are progressing well tonight. We've got a couple new people on the board, and I thought that this meeting went a lot better than the last one. So I think things are getting better.
questions?
I just have a comment just for the new members about our budget process. So library staff begin putting together the budget to present to the library board for approval in August. And then once the library board approves the budget, the final library budget based on all of the needs of the library, then we send that over to village finance staff, and then they start plugging their numbers in, and then that's when it goes over to the village board for those workshop sessions. So I think just from our standpoint for preparing the budget, the sooner we know kind of what we're working with for the levy, the sooner we can really just hopefully we're included in a lot of those budget discussions because the sooner we know, the sooner we're able to work together to kind of figure out where we need to be allocating funding and how we're going to make the standards work. So it's always a tight turnaround, tight deadline, and I feel like this year it's going to be even tighter. So I think it would be really important for not only the library staff, but also the trustees to really play an integral role in those budget workshops with the village.
I would also like to add a comment. All the trustees should have in their packet got a sheet. This one isn't put on the website, but it is broken everything into categories where we're spending. So part of our discussions probably next month, because we need to decide all this in August, will be what these categories are. And so you have a better idea of the kinds of things we're spending money on.
So this is the revenue side of it, the front page, and then the back is the expenditures. Also, I do think that a really helpful post that the library put on its blog last November does go over at a very high level the budget, which I think is helpful because the library budget is slightly confusing. That's maybe a good place to also start because it kind of goes over the minimum service standards, the county library levy, property taxes, and all of that. And it was, I can send this out to the board, or we can include it in the minutes. It is the November 9th, 2022 blog. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Jackie, are you doing the Friends report?
Yes.
Okay.
So I received some notes from Peggy, who was our Friends liaison, regarding the last month's Friends meeting. There were several new members in attendance at the last Friends meeting, so we had some great introductions. One of the projects that the Friends are working on this summer is they are doing garbage pickup duties for the Sunset Concert Series, and each night they receive a donation for cleaning up the garbage and filling the cans with new liners. So we are, I believe the Friends are still looking for additional volunteers, so if anyone's interested, definitely contact the Friends. In September, sorry, I'm reading Peggy's handwriting. In September, the Friends are having a Friends only event. We are going to have a concert after hours at the library with a singer-songwriter. So this is very similar and reminiscent to our previous Friends only event that we held in October, the Bookworms After Hours event, where children could come, dress up as their favorite library book character, give behind the scenes tours, enjoy some donated pizza, do some crafts, story time. So the goal for the Friends is to give perks to Friends members, and we received many new Friends memberships the night of that event. So this is taking place in September. And it's geared more towards adults with the singer-songwriter. So stay tuned for more information about that. They discuss the logistics, where it's going to take place. So stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting night. The Library Friends also did something really wonderful. Some of you are maybe aware that they maintain a little free library downtown. They also decided to use funds to purchase a little free library, a bright red, you cannot miss it, to put outside the Falls Area Food Pantry. And so the Friends members maintain stocking of both of the little free libraries, and it is already actually assembled and installed, thank you to some assistance from the Village Public Works Department. So that's just something that the Friends do to help support the community as a whole, promote literacy, and they figured what better spot than outside the food pantry to promote the love of reading. It looks like they also discussed the grassroots Facebook post that was disseminated under the Library Friends account. The Friends also posted further statements about the Friends organization and what the Friends mission and goals are. And they are looking to gain more members and gain more support as they are moving forward. That's all I have.
I saw the little free library outside the food pantry on my run. It was not stocked yet, but it's very beautiful. It's a really nice, it's a very easy to spot location. So I was very excited to see that. Any questions about the Friends update? Okay, so next month we will have Carol giving the Friends report during that standing spot on our monthly agenda. So speaking of next month, our next meeting is Wednesday, July 19th at 6:00 p.m. in this room. And with that, at 7:17, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you everyone for coming.